What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
With all the craziness going on right now, it's actually unfortunate that we can't be there together doing this, but I think this is definitely sounds like the next best thing to be able to do to be able to continue working on these types of projects.
Once this COVID thing has passed, which hopefully it will soon, but even once it does, I still think that this kind of technological solution is going to be important because sometimes people just don't want to have to up and drive from one side of the city to the other. They would rather just dial into something like this for especially for like a mastering session or something, or perhaps your drum is on the other side of the country, like in our case. All right, well, I've got your file here. I've pulled it up on the screen, so let me
Cool.
switch across. You should see there, and just to give you a little bit of introduction here, because I know this is a kind of new technology for you. So, as I mentioned to you in the documentation that I sent over to you, we've got the two devices, right? We've got one device which is handling the HD audio, which we're chatting on right now. Now, for that, I'm using this microphone that you saw that's kind of stuck into my face, and I have that operated by a foot switch. So once I start working and mixing, my voice will go away. If I need to talk to you, I'll engage the foot switch to talk with you. And the reason I do that is so that you don't hear the audio twice. I don't want anything to color the sound. I want what you're hearing to be exactly the same quality of audio that I'm hearing here in my control room, which I've spent hundreds of hours tuning to make it as flat as possible. So what we're hearing is as close to reference quality as possible. And I want you to get that same experience over the stream. So I have that foot switch so that I can remove my microphone from the chain so that it won't color your sound. Now, similarly, on your side, you'll see that you have an option on the screen there for push to talk. So you can engage that while you're listening too, and then all you have to do is use the shift button to open and close your microphone as and when you want to, chat and add comments and thoughts and things. That way, I won't hear clicks and pops. If you're munching on, popcorn or you open a can of beer, I won't all of a sudden think, oh, there was a click in the recording and go looking, on the screen to find some sound that I thought I heard. So just know that that's there. It's that push to talk button you'll see. Once you engage that, just use the shift button to engage and disengage when you want to chat.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to dig in and get going on this.
All right,
Do
cool.
it.
All right, cool. Well, what I usually like to do first is start listening through and getting a vibe for the song, and where perhaps we need to start making some tweaks. I'll start pulling in the plugins into the signal chain and making some tweaks. And once we've gone through it a couple of passes, I'll check in with you and see if we're kind of headed in the right direction. You'll also see, if you look on the screen here, down in the bottom left-hand corner where I'm kind of highlighting right now with that flashing circle, every once in a while I'll click there to disengage the entire signal chain. And that's really just for reference purposes. I like to kind of go back and forth and listen to how it was before and how it is after I've added, the various changes, just to kind of see, again, are we heading in the right direction? Is it improving overall, what we're doing here? So if you hear the level go up and down, things kind of coming in and out, that's what that is. You'll see me clicking that button on and off every once in a while. So don't be too alarmed if you see that. And then,
Okay.
and then once we've gone through a few passes, and we're getting happier and happier with it, then we can go and we can kind of tidy up the beginning and end of the file, in case there's any clicks or pops or bangs or noises. It looks like, just from looking at the file, looks like we got a fade out at the end there, so we can see if that fade out is how we want it, or if we need to make any changes to that. And then we'll render a mix, and we'll be done for the night.
Great. Sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to disengage the mic and start listening.
as it came, it left me feeling quite empty. I don't need to hate the world. I don't need to do anything.
Sometimes if you don't see any activity on the screen, it doesn't mean I've fallen off my chair or run upstairs to go get a cup of coffee or something. I have some other devices in here that I use when I'm mastering, especially sometimes mixing as well. That here, I'll give you a look-see. Oops.
I still see you.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the gadget I'm talking about. Oh, you can only just about see the back of it here. This is my Droma MS3.1. This bad boy here, I just picked up this year, and it's a monitoring controller, but it gives me a whole bunch of other abilities that you don't see me doing on the screen, and unfortunately you can't hear them through the stream because it only affects what's happening in the room with the reference monitors. So I apologize you don't get to hear it, but it gives me some additional tools so I can isolate particular bands and frequencies. I can do reverse phase. I can do, true mono, left mono, right mono, left right swap, stuff like that, which allows me to feel which areas of the mix need work. So sometimes you might see activity kind of stall on the screen. Maybe I did zone out. It does happen from time to time. Maybe I'm just really into the song and listening, because that happens too. There's times where I just need to listen to the song, but it's either of those two things. If you see a lack of activity on the screen, it's either I'm listening or I'm twiddling with the drama.
Cool.
I was just saying I can usually tell if you're enjoying it. If you're nodding and your head's going up and down this way, that's usually a good sign. I know someone's vibing on what they're hearing. If the head's going like this or the head's in the hands like this, then I can tell. That's the handy feature about having the picture-in-picture here. I can kind of use your body language as a guide for if we're heading in the right direction.
I do want to see what we can do with the end to really make that sustain, feel really cool for what's going to be coming next on for the next track.
And I think it's key to this song too, because with the title of the song and the whole kind of lyric to the song about being, letting go, with that long drawn out ending, it's almost like you're reluctant to, you're scared to, you want to let go, but it's that leap of faith. You're not sure if you want to, and I feel like we should leave that almost in its entirety. Like, not, a lot of people would probably say, "Oh, it's way too long. Let's clip it down. It's way too long." I really don't think we should. I think I really like the way that just kind of swells and how the bass is rumbling, then the bass drops out, the guitar carries on, and then eventually dies into those reverb tails. I think if we kind of, maybe we'll look at doing a fade from right around when the bass drops out, just a real gentle, gradual fade to have when that guitar feedback dies into the reverb tails, to have it kind of go with that. So what I'm thinking, Jaime, is I think maybe we would just do a very gentle fade that begins right after your bass drops. That section right here. This is where the bass ends right there, and then we'll do a fade for this whole section here, so it tails off just as you hear the guitar decay away into the reverb.
Okay.
Seem true, no one can change you but you, and so I must.
I think we're pretty close there. Made a few more tweaks, and then right at the end there, I was kind of jumping around to different points in the song, just so we could kind of put our ears on different sections out of context with one another. Just to make sure that, again, that the changes that we've made are having an overall positive impact on every part of the song. Because obviously, when we're mastering, any decision that we make is going to affect the entire song. So we want to make sure that if we're making a decision, whatever it is, whether it's an EQ decision or anything else, that we're making that decision and it's having a positive impact for all parts of the song, beginning, middle, end, the whole thing.
I definitely like the way. I mean, you can definitely tell when you turn off the signal of what you're doing. It definitely sounds fuller with what you're doing, so that makes me happy.
I did notice one thing that I do want to go. I want to go back to that section where it drops down and just make a small adjustment on the EQ. Is there anything else that you noticed when just listening through that time?
No, nothing that I noticed, but you might have a better ear for
It's
a
real
little.
subtle, and it's the OCD in me, it's the perfectionist that comes out. So it's very subtle, but something that I want to go grab now because it'll probably bug me later if I don't. So I'm gonna go make that tweak real quick, but then I think that will be it. I think we're done then. Man, I love this track. Listening through this, I couldn't help but just think, the conversation that we're having about energy and the song that will follow this song is pretty much like an entire album or an entire, live set packed into 6.5 minutes. It has everything that a great live show should have, or that a great album would have, in terms of like the build, the drop down, and then the final like lift off right at the end. I mean, it's exactly that kind of energy, flow. If you were to graph it, teaching kids how to like put together a great live show, this song has got it in 6.5 minutes. Well done. I know it was all you.
Yeah, all me.
Even though you just
You
told me
taking
that you weren't technically, you weren't in the room when it happened, so that's why I joke. I know it was all you. All right, let me just drop back to that drop down section real quick, and then I'll get you out of here.
Okay.
All right, Jaime. If you're happy with that, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, man. I dig
So
it.
what I'll do, I'll print this one off. You don't have to hang around for that. That'll only take me a few minutes, and then I'll send the file to you to have a listen to. Um, because particularly since this is the first time you've done one of these, I want you to get a chance to hear it, on the mix, the actual wave file itself straight away as well, so you can compare it to what you just heard over the stream. Um, to make sure that it sounds the same to your ears, and just let me know, yep, that's what I heard over the stream too, or I heard something different. If there's anything else in there that you noticed that you want me to tweak, just get back to me and let me know. And then let's look at doing the next one.
Great, man. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, it's great hanging with you, buddy. I appreciate your
Yeah, man,
time.
definitely.
Always a pleasure to be working with you, and looking forward to more of the same soon.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time on this. This has been great. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.